family, good afternoon. Mr. Bailey,
Present.
Mr. Brown.
Here.
Ms. Herbert.
Here.
Dr. Bustle.
Here.
Mr. Brennan.
Present.
Mr. McDowell. Mayor Rickaman.
Here, may you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Reverend McDowell, would you do us the honor?
It's been several months since I've had this opportunity to come and say a word of grace, primarily because sickness sort of got me. And guess what? I'm back. Not fully back. I'm still in a wheelchair, but I need you to know unequivocally, I want you to know that I'm still able to stand. I got this little cart here that affords me an opportunity to scoot around the house and to be a part of city council. I want to thank my friend on the other end of this table, Peter Brown. Peter has been a delight as we shared together on council, and as he took my religious responsibilities back. Peter, I'm grateful for that, and I appreciate that.
It was my pleasure, and I'm glad to be back on the bench.
Well, I'm glad you're on the bench and not in the dugout. Thank you all so much. It's been a joy to share, and I simply want to say thank you. Thank you for your support, and thank you for all that you've done. Let us bow our heads. Gracious and eternal God, for your goodness and mercy, for all that you've done for us today. Thank you for allowing us to share with each other. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this city that continues to grow, bloom, and blossom. For leaders in this city, from our mayor, our city manager, and to all of you who have gathered to this council, who listen very attentively to things that are necessary for kingdom building. We simply want to say thank you. Thank you for health. Thank you for strength. And most importantly, thank you for that heel that sits as a beacon. We ask it and claim it in your name. Amen. Thank you.
Welcome, Reverend McDowell. We will start with the adoption of the agenda, Mayor and Council. There are a few items that will be amended. The
Mr. Mayor.
first, oh, I'm sorry.
Am I breaking a tradition, Ms. Wilson, that you do the motions? I make a motion to amend the agenda as follows. Withdraw item 16 from consent agenda. Approve consent agenda items 5 through 15, 17, and 18. And defer item 28, fiscal year 2024-2025 special revenue allocations.
Any questions, comments? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll, please?
Mr. Bailey.
Aye.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Ms. Herbert.
Aye.
Dr. Bustle.
Aye.
Mr. Brennan.
Yes.
Mr. McDowell.
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan. Public input related to items on the agenda. Individuals are allotted up to 3 minutes to address city council about items on the agenda. Items requiring a public hearing cannot be addressed at this time.
Okay. Mayor and council, we have Mr. Eugene Speed here to speak on item 29.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
I know Councilwoman Herbert said she would speak a little bit more in detail in reference to this, but the bottom line is the policy or the rule that you have in place.
Hold on for 1 second, just so we know what you're talking about. We're talking about item 29 on the agenda.
You know what?
Item
29.
29.
Mr., is it Speed? Speed. So what I was just referencing is this is the time, well, yes, sir, you can, because it's not a public hearing. Go ahead, I apologize.
In reference to item 29, I belong to North Minister Presbyterian Church. It's located at 6717 David Street, Columbia, South Carolina, 292203. And what's going on there is that we have a significant amount of debris that was supposed to be collected and picked up. But the issue is, all these years, 50-plus years, I thought we had an account with the city, and it was told to me we don't have an account. The issue is that we have a dumpster service. There's a policy in place, if you have a dumpster service, you can't get an account with the city. I'm asking for this board right here to look into rechanging that rule so we can allow ourselves to have bulk track pickup. There's pictures that I gave the councilwoman, Herbert, that shows you the issue. But that's the issue. We can't get an account because we have a dumpster service to pick up our house, well, I would say church property goods.
So yours is more yard waste that you're concerned about
Yes,
right now?
Yes, Mayor.
That makes sense. Ms. Herbert, did you want to address anything? I know you're referring this.
No, I will address it at the appropriate time.
Okay.
I do
Thank
wanna-
you very much.
I do want to
Thank
thank
you.
everyone for coming from the church, too.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do have members from my church. Could you please stand, North Minister Presbyterian Church, just stand.
Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Sal, Hammond, sorry.
That's all that I have at this time.
All right. Madam City Manager?
Approval of minutes, item number 1. Council is asked to approve the May 7th, 2024 budget workshop and council meeting minutes.
Is there a motion? Is there a
Second.
motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Got a second? Any questions, concerns, changes, comments? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving into a period of presentations, item number 2 is one of our favorite presentations every year, the National Public Works Week Proclamation, the Honorable Daniel J. Rickaman, Mayor.
Well, first of all, I'd like to invite our director, Robert Anderson, up front. I would appreciate if all the staff from Public Works would stand up and be recognized as well that's here. And before I read this proclamation and then yield the floor to Mr. Anderson, I do think we all know how lucky we are as a city to have such a dynamic staff and department. And it's built a history, working in the city, working with our residents, working with our businesses, and working with us at City Council to make sure that we provide the best service. And we try to give them the tools and everything that they need. And sometimes they have managed over the years with some thin margins and made miracles happen. But the one thing we can count on, rain, snow, sleet, storms, you name it, our Public Works folks are always there, making a difference, and I'm very proud of that. And for us, I think it's a shining star. And over the years, we've won some awards. We've taken home, but we've built a staff that I think I'd match up to anybody, anywhere, anytime. With that, I would like to take a moment to read this proclamation. Public Works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, services that are of vital importance to sustainability and resilient communities, to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Columbia, South Carolina. These infrastructures, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of Public Works professionals who are engineers, managers, employees at all levels of government, the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, protecting our nation's transportation, our water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, other structures, and facilities that are essential to our citizens. It is in the public's interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Columbia to gain knowledge, maintain an ongoing interest, understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. All citizens are encouraged to join with the representatives of American Public Works Association, government agencies, and activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute and recognize the substantial contributions of our public work professional, engineer, managers, and employees. The year 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by American Public Works Association, the Canadian Public Works Association. So I, Daniel Rickman, the mayor of Columbia, South Carolina, along with my fellow members of Columbia City Council, do hereby proclaim that this city honors and recognizes all of our public works employees on National Public Works Week, which is May 19th through May 25th, 2024. And I do want to take a second because it reminded me as I was reading this, several years ago, and I'm dating myself, there was a young little boy who came out and was with our recycling guys every day that they worked the route. That young gentleman today graduated and is now a director of recycling in another city. So the impact and the relationship and the personality, the way our folks carry out their job and always putting the customer first pays dividends. So remember that little boy next time who now is a man who is working in that job but fell in love with the people who served his community. And I think that says a lot of your department, Robert.
Well, thank you very much. And Mayor, Council, first of all, I want to say the gentleman's name is Andrew Talkish. So anybody that's excited, he went to Clemson. He did graduate out of Clemson. I'm sure that'll make a few of you happy. So, but he will actually be in Columbia speaking at a show here very soon. But, you know, the one thing we talk about, and I heard a lot today about what we're going to discuss, and I'm going to be brief, but one of the mottos that Public Works has every year is when they come out with Public Works Weeks is what we do, and it's advancing the quality of life for all. Whether it's an Andrew Talkish who, you know, followed Vince Gallman years ago on the back of the recycling truck, learning how to sort recyclables and graduating, you know, and going on with his career in the environmental field, or whether it's, you know, somebody coming up to me earlier, and I'm not going to mention the name, said, we hope we don't bother you a lot. And I'm like, you know, that's where we want to be. We strive to be perfect every day. We don't make it. And if we don't, let us know, and we will try to do what we can to make it perfect. So recently, we held an event on Main Street, Touch a Truck. We did Touch a Truck at Public Works for years and decided 2 years ago to move it to Main Street. And I always thought our backhoe rodeo and our little mini excavator that our guys did, Fred and everybody, I thought it was great. I do have to say, I don't see Chief Jenkins here tonight, but when they started cutting a car up on Main Street, it's pretty cool. Okay? So I don't know what we're going to do to trump that, but when you start cutting cars up on Main Street to show people what you do, that's advancing the quality of life. The one thing we have, and we talked about the convention center earlier, is for the second time, we're bringing our South Carolina American Public Works Summer Show to the convention center June 11th through the 14th. On June 11th, I will tell you, if you want to see some talented operators, some of them I hope are Columbia operators, we will have our state final backhoe rodeo here in Columbia. It'll be held at the Convention Center on June 11th at 4 p.m. So if you have time to come out, you will see some talent. The individual that wins that actually goes to national. I believe South Carolina is a three times national champion of the national rodeo that is held nationally. This year, the rodeo would be in Atlanta. So, Mayor, I believe you're scheduled to come on the 12th to open our little event. And then also, council, I've talked to a lot of our people here and members of American Public Works and our past presidents. We'd love to offer anybody that wants to come by the trade show on June 12th and see some of the new ideas that Public Works has and our trade show vendors. Come by, ask for myself, Sarah, anybody here, Dana, and we'll try to get you in. We'll try to get you on the show floor to see what we have. So with that, Mayor, you've took some of it as the division heads and a lot of supervisors are here with Public Works. I can't do anything without them each and every day. You know, I try to know a lot, but they know a lot more than me. But I'm going to go through our divisions real quick and just kind of let you know where we're at and what we do. We have our Animal Services Division, who dedicates something each and every day, weekends. You know, I think everybody thinks that Animal Services stops, but they have a dedicated staff each and every day that, yes, ma'am. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I actually do this. Okay. Sorry. So my name is Brittany Martin. I've been with the city for about 4 years. And one of the things I love the most about my job is not only do I get to help animals, but I get to help the underserved animals in our community. And, you know, we go day to day and we are just under the guidance of a fantastic vet, and we get to, again, treat and support. And I'm so sorry, I'm so nervous. I'm sorry. But our everyday consists of spay and neutering, and we conduct wellness exams for shelter pets and work hard to educate and support our community through their pet ownerships.
Thank you, Brett. So next, we have our Forestry and Beautification Division. They've reached out with Mary Pat's help this year. We've got a USDA grant, forestry grant for a little over $200,000. We were named Tree City, yes ma'am, excuse me.
I do that. Hi, my name is Alicia Beatonbow, and I've actually been with the city for about a year now, and it's been a great experience. One thing I do love the most about my job is actually beautifying the city. You know, going to one area and looking at it may not be the best, but then after you see the finished work, I just love seeing our completed work of beautifying.
So as you can tell, beautification is one of our big focuses. It's part of the focus of council right now. Solid waste does a lot of things through the year. Street sweeping, they're the one place that comes out any day you want to, whether it's garbage, recycling, trash. I'm sure they're here every day. Yes, sir. Oh, excuse me.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ernest Bethea. I've been with the city for 13 years. And the one thing I like about my job is going around, seeing the kids greeting me as I ride down the road and smiling when I honk the horn at them. And also working with my coworkers. I enjoy helping out whenever I can. And everybody does what they do to complete the job. And also like working on the weekends and, you know, wherever I'm needed, I'm there.
Thank you, Ernest. You know, got a big garbage truck parked out back here. We might want to go to work. So the next thing is our street division. I want to, maybe I'm interrupted, I want to go through a couple projects here. One of them we talked about earlier today was communication, and we've got a big project at Wood Creek Farms. It's almost a $3 million project. So we did a lot of communication with Wood Creek. We've gotten one complaint, I will tell you. So, oh, okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Hey, how everybody doing? My name is Fred Taylor. I've been with the street division for a little over 9 years. One of the things that I really enjoy about coming to work is receiving my assignment from the supervisors and doing my job at its best, see the project completed. And once you do that, matter of fact, the zoo, for instance, I can step back and say, hey, you know what? I have did that. And one of the funniest things, I can always joke with my supervisors.
Thanks, Fred. So as the work does their asphalt work and concrete work, but I'm going to go back to Wood Creek Farms. One complaint. I believe Robert Sweat took the call and he came up and talked to me about it. He said, we got one complaint on Wood Creek Farms Road. And I'm like, well, what's the issue there? And he says, well, this lady said that she don't know anything that's going on out there. And I was like, Robert, did you explain to her that we post weekly on the town square at Wood Creek? And he said, yeah, I told her that. And I said, and she said, I don't live there. How am I supposed to get the post? So if that's the only complaint we got on Wood Creek Farms Road, we're in pretty good shape. So the next one I have is a little bit different. It's about traffic. And you know, you ever come to town or you're here on weekends or during the week and you sit here and the light's red and you're stomping your foot and you're just really worried about, oh, I'm sorry.
My name's Shane Cox, and I've been with the city for about 6.5 years now. What I like most about my job is with the work we do, we have a visible and often immediate impact on improving traffic in the city, whether we upgrade a pedestrian crossing, repair traffic signals, adjust the signal timing. The improvements we make are readily apparent. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. So anybody needs a traffic light retimed or want to know which, way to take to work, talk to Shane. He might be able to help you out a little bit. But, with that, I want to say that just these employees and many others are what makes Public Works work every day. We are a group that wants to go out and do what we need to do, and we don't need to be seen. But through our sustainability office, our grants office, John Tinsley couldn't be here today. He does our GIS. He does more maps than you can imagine, but he also is our drone pilot, and everybody needs a drone pilot. So, but I want to thanks to the employees of Public Works. I hope everybody, if you want to learn a little bit about Public Works, since I didn't get a chance to talk today, come by and see me or come by and see some of our staff. We are having peanuts, popcorn, and lemonade all week long, so come by and stop.
Robert. Cut off my photo. Trim a little bit. All right, can everybody see me? Yes. Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna say one more. 1, 2, 3. All right.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay, moving right along. Item number 3, the recognition of Lieutenant Fred Bryant, Mr. William Skip Holbrook, Police Chief for our Columbia Police Department.
That's all right. That's all right, Chief. Anytime, Chief. You got the gun. We've had an opportunity to congratulate for the fine work that all of our city employees do as it relates to Robert Anderson. One of the things that we didn't do today, we didn't say thank you, Robert, because behind the departments and the persons we recognize today, we did not recognize you. And I don't want you to stand and somebody sneak up behind you and say but I want to say thank you personally, because I've had the opportunity, along with my colleagues, to call Robert and to ask him if we could get something done in a specific area. And you've without hesitation, you got that done. And so I want to say thank you. Keep up the good work. And I got some trees that I need to get cut. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Robert Anderson Productions, great job. You do a great job. Our Public Works Department is phenomenal, and they should be congratulated. Mr. Mayor, Ms. Wilson, and council, I've got the pleasure of recognizing a police officer I'd like to invite up to the podium. That way I don't have to worry about him interrupting me from behind. As he's walking up, this is Lieutenant Fred Bryant. Fred's been in law enforcement for 22 years. He is just an outstanding example of what we expect of our police officers, and more importantly, just our person in general. He's been assigned to professional standards for a long time. When I first got here, he was one of my go-to people in professional standards in our Internal Affairs Division, and he is now the executive officer in our Criminal Investigations Bureau. He is an FBI Trilogy Award winner, and he's currently representing us in the first cohort at the USC School of Law Excellence in Policing cohort. So the best is really yet to come for Fred, but I want to recognize what he has done the last 3 months. It's an extreme sacrifice. On May 9th, 2024, Lieutenant Bryant graduated from the University of Louisville Southern Police Institute Administrative Officers course. Lieutenant Bryant was a member of the 151st session, which was comprised of 42 officers representing various ranks, including chiefs from 38 different states. The Southern Police Institute was founded in 1951, it was founded in 1951, and it became a 12-week course in 1962 where they earned 12 hours of semester hours through the University of Louisville's College of Arts and Science. The very demanding academic curriculum pushed Lieutenant Bryant both personally and professionally. This course prepares officers for leadership roles within their agencies and is designed to develop informed, practical, ethically sound, and technically proficient law enforcement managers. In addition to his academic accomplishments, Lieutenant Bryant experienced personal growth and awareness of his own leadership style, his blind spots, and a value of flexibility and resiliency. The participants in the SPI Session 151 studied various topics, including management, organizational performance, trauma-informed policing, criminal justice leadership, and law enforcement administration. He not only completed this program with high honors, but when I had the pleasure of going to the graduation a couple weeks ago, and it is truly academically driven there. It's very impressive. The folks that represent the various agencies, they are absolutely some of the brain trust from some very progressive police departments, and the instructors really push the students. So it's a sacrifice, and he's probably done more writing than he has in his entire career, I would suspect. So we're very pleased with that. They also do a video, kind of like we do here when we talk about their cohort. And as I watched this, it was quite entertaining, but he was on about every picture. So he evidently was, very well liked. And and respected. And I had a lot of people come up to me and compliment his work during the time and their experience with him and getting to know him. So I would end by saying organizational success and maintaining a culture of excellence is achieved through developing leaders in an organization. And Lieutenant Bryant has demonstrated sacrifice, perseverance, and commitment to excellence in our organization. His performance exemplifies all that is expected of a leader and a law enforcement professional, and he represents the Columbia Police Department in the highest of standards and traditions. And it's my pleasure to recognize him for this outstanding achievement.
Always celebrating talent here. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Excellent.
So I love this city so much. We're just full of talent, and
Yes, sir.
extraordinary people.
Yes, sir. Well, we will bring up another extraordinary young lady, Miss Ashley Page Bookhart. But although she was suggesting, as we were starting my meeting, that we needed to edit, and I said, no, ma'am, Miss Ashley, not right now, but you will come up and reintroduce who you're bringing with you. So these other exceptional ladies are with us from Columbia Food Policy Committee to introduce the COLA Eats Collaborative.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to introduce our illustrious chair, Shauna Cato, as she will be speaking about COLA Eats this evening.
And she's a writer.
And Tracy.
We have Tracy Dixon with us also, and she sits on the Columbia Food Policy Committee. Good afternoon, Mayor, Council, and I'll say family, citizens of Columbia. Thank you for being here, and thank you for this opportunity to talk to you today about COLA Eats. What is COLA Eats? COLA Eats is an initiative that was formed with J.T. McLaughlin with Columbia Urban League. He actually reached out to Ms. Dixon and said, hey, what can we do to feed our students this summer in lieu of a program that has gone on for the last 3 years that will not come to our state this year. And so from there, we worked together, we collaborated, we met, and we met, and we met, and we came up with COLA Eats. COLA Eats is going to fund 1,500 students in the greater Columbia area, 3 districts, Richland 1, Richland 2, and Lexington and Richland 5. 500 students from each district at an amount of $120. And so that their families can have a little extra money to feed them during the summer months. $120 is not a lot of money, I know, but it helps. And so this is some money, it duplicates what they would have gotten, and so we didn't want to change the model. We wanted to stick with what was done previously and be able to give those funds to the students. To date, we have about $20,000. So if you do the math, we need some more money. So, you know, I can stand here all day and talk about it because it meets another need of food insecurity in our community. Students rely on the work that Tracy and I do during the school year to make sure that they're fed breakfast and lunch. When they go home during the summer, some students don't have that, whether it be access to summer programs, whether it's transportation issues for their parents to get them to summer meal programs that will continue to exist. Those are barriers for some families. And so while you might say 120 is not enough, it is something to help those families to meet a need during the summertime. And as you know, kids get a lot. Groceries are expensive. And so whatever we could do to help families, that is what we do with Columbia Food Policy Committee. And like I said, Tracy and I, we wear double hats when it comes to this. We want to make sure students are fed, in and out of school. The kids will get a gift card from Food Lion, and the cards have restrictions of tobacco and alcohol sales. But we wanted to keep the necessities there because, too, if we have food, sometimes we don't have the necessities, and families need everything to be able to feel whole. And so we kept that within the limitations. Did I miss anything? Ashley?
I'll mention this, because I know City Council will be happy to hear this. As you can see on here, No Kid Hungry is mentioned as a partner, which is a national organization. It's a campaign under Share Our Strength. They have been a great partner with us. We are meeting with them in about 2 weeks with their government relations team, with their communications team, with their data team, and they're going to help us tell this story nationwide. So I want you all to know what we're doing is a very unique model that they said, hey, y'all are coming to do something together as a community. We want to spotlight that. We want to highlight that. So hopefully you all will see some articles, see us nationally about something that we came together to do in little old Columbia, South Carolina, to really be able to pour in and help the students and families of the area.
Yeah, I just want to thank you all. I saw Ashley at the Food Truck Friday, and she was telling me about the program, and I told her the importance of letting us know what the committee is doing, because if you don't tell your story, which is what we're working on as well, making sure to tell your story and your successes. And so if they're, I'm not requesting a request from you all, but if we can help promote or anything that we may be able to assist, if you have any questions, because we want to help and make sure it's as successful as it can be.
And, you know, they're not just working with our young students, they're working with our college students. You know, we have a tremendous amount of college students that struggle to pay their bills and make decisions on food. And Ashley and the team have been working on that, and what they're bringing forth is kind of troubling when you see it. And the numbers have grown from what you shared from us the first time we had the conversation, but getting the community involved. And I want to thank y'all from all the work from the beginning. Our mobile cart wouldn't be here if y'all weren't tenacious and pushing hard. Opportunity to work with Instacart and others, but the national recognition is going to open up doors. And Share Our Strength is part of the Mayor's Alliance to End Hunger that I work with as well. And there's also some other opportunities for us to engage with our business community and other folks to help promote this program. So I want to make sure that we can have all the information as well, so we can make sure that we can share it as a team. But just thank y'all for what you're doing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, one thing.
Yes, Mr. Bailey.
When do y'all plan on distributing those cards to?
So the goal was actually this week, but our social workers are gonna get those out next week. They'll get in the hands of the students before they go home for summer break.
And when money comes in after the kids go
We're gonna
home?
keep distributing.
Okay. And just also thank y'all for this. I think this, and I would like to thank the Urban League and JT McLaughlin for their initiative with this. This is a prime example of, you know, when there's a curveball thrown with funding at the community, figuring out a way to be creative to step up for our kids. And I would encourage the public here or people watching, you know, the summer's coming, people know usually crime ticks up during the summer, but sometimes kids are hungry and that affects their behavior.
Exactly.
And so if you're worried about things like that, this is a great group that you could contribute to help to level that burden off some.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our consent agenda items as amended. Consent agenda items 5 through 15, 17, and 18 for consideration.
Is there a motion? You got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion, questions?
Mr. Mayor, I just
Yes.
wanted to flag for the public, item number 6, very excited to continue improving our experience of being able to take care of services online, like your business license, and then we're working towards hopefully being able to to have our H-Tax also be paid online, so glad to see that.
This fall, right?
Coming this fall, and that was something that we heard a lot about, the ease of being able to take care of these payments in a way that doesn't require having to come in or snail mail or any of those things. So excited about that.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert? Dr. Bustles?
Yes.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Resolutions, item 19, resolution number R 2024-029, authorizing the city manager to execute a license agreement between the City of Columbia and T-Mobile Northeast LLC for use of the Columbia Water Laurel Hill Elevated Water Storage Tank Site.
Is there a motion? Is there a second? Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions, clarifying notes? Seeing none, hearing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 20, resolution number R 2024-027, annexing Circle View Road in Richland County.
I got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions, concerns? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Opening our public hearing and first reading for zoning planning matters, Ms. Krista Hampton, Director of Planning and Development Services, will come forward to assist, starting with item 21, an annexation, future land use map amendment and zoning map amendment for 103.07 acres at Circle View Road and 21.9 acres at Circle View Road, I guess in the southwestern or western southern or corridor, related to item 20, Mayor and Council.
Thank you.
That's correct,
Hampton.
and to complete that, the request is to annex the property, assign a land use classification of urban core residential small lot, transitional sensitive lands, and a zoning of residential single-family small lot. Portions of it will be within the floodplain overlay and the floodway overlay.
Is there anyone here to speak for or against this item?
Ms. Rondo Folks is signed up to speak.
Ms. Rhonda, the floor is yours. You good? Thank you, ma'am. Is there any questions from council? Ms. Herbert, this is District 1.
So moved.
Got a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll, please?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 22 is an annexation, future land use map amendment, and zoning map amendment for 4012 Farrow Road. The request is to annex the property, assign a land use classification of urban core neighborhood activity center, and a zoning of neighborhood activity center corridor for the annexation.
Is there anyone here to speak for or against this item?
No one has signed up.
Reverend McDowell? So moved. Reverend McDowell's moved it forward. Is there a second?
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 23 is an amendment to the Unified Development Ordinance. It's a request to amend the Unified Development Ordinance, Article 3, Intervista Design Overlay, to remove the modification of permitted height for the OVID, which is the Intervista District, for buildings within 300 feet of a historic district. I'll take a moment to explain. The parcels shown are the impacted parcels. The Intervista Overlay District is a design review district that lays on top of a base zoning district. Overlay districts are used to implement regulations such as restricting height, design overlays. In this case, it does both. So the Innovista district overlays what is a base zoning district of mixed commercial, which has unlimited height. The previous district, prior to the rezoning, also had unlimited height. As part of the Innovista district, there were restrictions on parcels located within 300 feet of a historic district. In this case, that would be the West Gervais Street Historic District. The parcels shown are those that are both within the Innovista district and within 300 feet of a historic district. And so this proposal does not impact any other parcels outside of the Innovista district, any other parcels that are not within the 300 feet of a historic district.
Or any other parcels than these 6 here, correct?
Correct, yes. So what will remain as well is that any part of the Innovista district that is located within 300 feet of a residentially zoned district, such as that within Granby, will still have the 75-foot height requirement. Another thing to consider is that along the Gervais Street corridor, all the way up to UG Street, is an additional overlay district that is a height overlay district that restricts height to 80 feet. That was accomplished as part of the West Gervais Street planning process. And so that remains in place along the Gervais Street corridor. So properties outside of this area south of Gervais Street have always had unlimited height. So such as the True Hotel that was recently built. That could have been actually built far larger than the 7 stories, and this will not impact that particular property at all, as it was not within this overlay district. And the impetus behind this, and the mayor may want to speak to this further, is there have been inquiries about hotel development at the convention center, which was discussed earlier, about the need for a hotel and the expansion there. That particular piece of property would be limited by the 75 feet, which would make that challenging to develop at best. Happy to answer any other questions.
Ms. Hampton, let me ask you a question. Is that before the bridge?
Yes, sir. All of these are before the bridge. So the
It runs from the
parcels
convention
highlighted
center down
in
to the
yellow.
McDonald's.
It comes this way.
Yes,
Yep.
sir. But only a number of parcels were impacted by that restriction. The rest of them, south of Gervais, remain to have the ability for unlimited height.
Yeah, I'll just note
Right.
that the reasoning behind moving forward to change this is so we have the opportunity to bring a convention center hotel built on the convention center site. And for us to be able to grow the convention center at the level it needs a full-service hotel attached to it.
Yeah.
It right now can currently not get rooms that it needs, and why shouldn't we use property that we already own and have the opportunity to add ballroom space in the bottom of it as well, which would add to give us more room in the convention center to get the better quality conventions that we're looking for to grow, and that helps us grow. This is the same model that Austin, Texas used years ago. They built the hotel first, and then they had enough generation and utilizing the square footage. Unfortunately, we're within that boundary, so it really limited us from the ability to try to move forward on attaining that project. As much as you know, the top of Gervais Street has the same open opportunity, which is the 2 parcels on Assembly Street, which have always been unrestricted. So it's really just these 6 parcels that will be affected, but it allows us to move forward in the areas. And as you know, some of these parcels already have long-term buildings on them, apartment complexes in Southern. They're not moving, they're not changing anything. And then there's a couple smaller slivers that obviously can't be built to that. But this is the reasoning behind us looking for this change so that we can work with our convention center authority to bring in a hotel for our convention center.
Ms.
Madam-
Hampton, Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
question, Ms. Hampton. This does not affect any other historic districts, correct?
Correct. So it only applies to the Innovista Overlay District, which is only in this location in the city.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, you have anybody signed up?
Yes, sir. We have Mr. Bart Walworth.
Thank you. My name is Bart Walrath. I live in the Vista, 1324 Pulaski Street, and I'm Vice President of the Vista Neighborhood Association. Our president, Carol Ledecker, couldn't be here tonight. But all these parcels are in our neighborhood association area. And this has been a fairly fast-moving project. We haven't had time to digest the impact around all the parcels of reducing the height restriction. We don't know what's around all of them. We would like City Council to postpone, give us a month or some time to look at it, to understand. You mentioned things like the convention center. Well, that's always been something that Vista residents and business associations have been for, but there's other parcels beside that involved.
What, I guess I need to understand, I mean, this has been to the planning commission, it's been advertised, it's been put out there. What do you need, Bart?
We need more time to digest it. I guess it was just recently published on the agenda for City Council, and it's been very confusing to follow up. At first, I thought council was downtown. This was going to be digested, and then that changed, so we've been chasing it around. But we just want time. We're not saying no.
That's the issue.
Yes.
You're not saying yes or no.
Right.
What you're talking about is gathering the kind of information.
That's right.
That would help you ascertain what that answer ought to be. Is that right?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, procedurally, this is a first reading, and it comes back to us for a second reading. Let's do some work sessions with any interested parties in the Vista Neighborhood Association after this first reading.
Well,
to get
let's make sure we include the Vista property
And the
owners
merchants,
as
yes.
well.
In
I
the
mean, there are
second.
3 organizations there, so we can't, let's just make sure we have everybody at the table.
And we'll coordinate that time with you, Bart, and everybody.
So we could very well approve the first reading, but it gives us an opportunity between now and the second reading
Correct, whenever that second reading may
to
be.
understand the parameters of what is taking place, of what can take place there. And will give residents an opportunity to talk and discuss the matter.
And that second reading doesn't have to be in 2 weeks. It can be longer until everybody's on the same page for what the intended needs are for this.
Well, our request would be to postpone the first reading. It seems that momentum seems something you have to turn around, at least in my experience. Once it clears one hurdle, it just picks up momentum.
Krista, Ms. Hampton, can we ensure that before it's placed on the agenda for second reading, like, that it doesn't get put on until that meeting has been held?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, certainly, and council is usually vigilant about ensuring any follow-up is made.
Does that help you any? Like, we will not put it on the agenda for a second reading until that meeting is in fact had.
Okay,
Bart, you mind doing the microphone?
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
And who's going to set up the meeting, or?
We'll set it
Will?
up.
Okay, good.
And we'll include everybody.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah,
All the discussion, you've had that discussion.
okay.
Didn't we do that? I think we can do that.
Well, we absolutely can meet. I mean, but I want to be clear that we're going to have discussions, this and that. We may not agree at the end of the day, so don't make it contingent on that we all agree. We may not agree on the whole concept. But I have no problem, I have no problem delaying it 2 weeks and putting it on the next agenda. Whatever the will of council is, I'm open to meet. I haven't gotten a call from anybody, but we're always open to meet. We'll make sure that we have all the parcels, all the information. Just need a little help from you of what you'd like to have at the meeting. That would be helpful. We've got maps, we've got who the neighbors are, what's there. We can provide a lot, but we just need to know what you need.
I'm good with the first reading.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for approval.
So we have a motion.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
Just procedurally, should we put a, I guess, caveat on that motion for first reading that this meeting, the second meeting with the stakeholders will be conducted prior to second reading for purposes of it?
I'm happy
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
amend my motion to
Absolutely.
include
I have no problems with that.
neighborhood, Vista communication and meetings prior to second reading.
Including the Vista Neighborhood Association, the
Vista
Vista
Guild.
Guild, and the Vista Property Owners.
Correct.
Ms. Hammond,
I think that's everybody. It's only three, right?
this is still a public hearing, so this motion needs to be made if there's no other public speakers, is that correct? Okay, thank you.
Second.
So a motion
you.
and a second. And can you, Erica, just read back the motion? I want to make sure that it states clearly that we're going to have the meeting prior to a second reading.
Yes, sir. So the motion will be to the effect of council voted unanimously to give first reading to item 23 as written, subject to deferring second reading until a meeting is held with the Vista Neighborhood Association, the Vista Guild, and Vista Business Owners.
And we'll work to get that scheduled within the next 2 weeks.
And maybe we can meet at the convention center
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, we'll do that.
At the convention center.
With that, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Yes. Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles? Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell? Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
That concludes your zoning public hearing.
Thank you, Ms. Hampton.
Ordinance first reading, item 24, ordinance number 2024-042, authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase and sale agreement between the city of Columbia and Brittany Jackson for the sale of property located at 5208 Randall Avenue in Richland County.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Is there a second? Any further discussion? This is exciting. Starting to build some houses. With that, Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Event resolutions, item 25, resolution number R 2024-016, authorizing consumption of beer and wine only at Carolina's Caribbean Culture Festival in the 2000 block of Marion Street between Calhoun Street and Elmwood Avenue on Saturday, June 8, 2024, with a rain contingency date of Saturday, July 13,
So moved.
2024.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Madam Clerk, read the roll, please.
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Item 26, resolution number R 2024-025, authorizing consumption of beer and wine only within the 1400 block of Main Street, the eastern half block of the 1100 block of Hampton Street, adjacent to Boyd Plaza, and Boyd Plaza at the Jam Room Music Festival on Saturday, October 26, 2024, with a rain contingency date of Sunday, October 27,
So moved.
2024.
Got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk, read the roll.
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
And Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
Item 27, resolution number R 2024-035, ratifying the approval of resolution number R 2024-032, authorizing the consumption of beer, wine, and liquor.
And this is just, I know somebody had asked earlier, this is ratifying what the city manager had already done to make sure this event happened on time.
I'm quite sure you all would have preferred me to make sure the Congressman's fifth
Absolutely, we do.
successfully and on time.
We got a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown? Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
To Deferring other matters, item 28, moving to city council committee reports, referrals, and new business. The first being item 29, council is asked to refer a review of the city's policy related to the collection of yard debris and trash or garbage for commercial and nonprofit businesses to the Health, Social, and Environmental Affairs Committee as requested by the Honorable Tina N. Herbert.
And as we heard earlier today, I had a discussion with Elder Reese Speed about what our policies are and when we collect and when we don't collect. And then I spoke to Robert, and I think Robert has discussed some things. I think it would be good for council to be briefed on the history of how we got here, and then just make sure whether or not that is where we want to be with that. Does that sound good, Robert? I have to ask Robert if I said it right. But we do want to have that discussion, and I think it is important for everyone to know that policy. So I move approval of the referral.
Second. We got a motion and a second, and when would that meeting be, do you know, Ms. Herbert?
I do not know when the Health, Social, and
We are
Environmental-
meeting next week, so we can add it as soon as that, depending on staff.
You gonna be ready? Am I gonna be ready?
Wait, what? Okay. At 1.
One on Tuesday?
Yes.
They're gonna hear it at the subcommittee on 1 o'clock next Tuesday.
Yes,
sir.
it's a public
Absolutely,
meeting.
It's a public meeting.
It's also streamed, so if you're not able to be there, you can listen to it online.
You can use some of the fellow folks.
With that, we got a motion and a second, so Madam Clerk?
We have a motion. Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bussell?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
Mr. McDowell?
Yes.
Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you.
With that, we conclude the meeting.
There are no other referrals.
Public input, so from there.
Looking for?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we have Mrs. Diane Wiley. Remind our speakers that we have a 3-minute
Long
time.
time no see.
Good afternoon, my name is Diane Wiley, 4036 Webb Court, glad to be back home. And Mr. Reverend Dr. Counselor, Mr. McDowell, I'm glad to see you back. I didn't bother you too much while you were sick. But look, this is my issue today. And welcome back, Mr. Wilson. I should know your last name, 'cause my grandmother was a Wilson. But anyway, my issue is, y'all cannot be giving these people license to put a house where they getting ready to sell it back to you on Truman Street. He had to put 5 trucks load of rock to make it stand. It's a man named John. I tried to talk to him on the corner of Truman and Love. The house is just big, look like it's trying to be a duplex in our neighborhood, Belvedere. We got empty lots out there that you can put stuff in that y'all own. He just slid one in there, and the city gave him an address. There's 2 houses, and he's getting ready to sell it back to you all. So whoever buy it, I'm gonna be out there saying, you're gonna have a problem with the water. The water just runs down. But anyway, we got plenty of lots out there that's empty, and we need to have it as a brick home, because that's what it is. The ones that's already wood was grandfathered in. And this man has, you need to ride by there. And he
You're
don't,
telling us something we don't know.
oh, the city know.
You
They
know
know.
we're buying it?
Yeah. And he don't have no space to put his cars. It's gonna be on the sidewalk. And he's nasty. He's a renter. He's a slummy landlord. I told him to his face. I don't sugarcoat nothing,
That we do know.
you know. But when it, so you trying to make people think but I mean,
you're not,
I
Ms.
want my
Wiley. You know how
neighborhood to
much we
look
love you.
good. Okay, we got enough apartments in our neighborhood. We can put houses out there. I know my time over with. But anyway, it's an eyesore.
All right about that.
Please go by and look, you know. I didn't come up here to fuss. My fussing day is over with. I'm just gonna tell on you. That's all. That's all. You know, but I'm
Complaints are
going,
compliments, because if you didn't care, you wouldn't be here.
I sure wouldn't. I started not to come today. You know what we did the weekend.
I don't know what you're talking about, Ms. Allen.
All right, Mayor, we have Ms. Michelle Huggins.
I believe Ms. Gentry, and I spoke to her, I think she left.
Okay, no one else has signed up to speak. No one else has signed
No
up.
one else has signed up. All right, well, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second. Madam Clerk, could you read the roll?
Mr. Bailey?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Herbert?
Aye.
Dr. Bustles?
Aye.
Mr. Brennan?
Yes.
And Mr. McDowell? Mr. McDowell and Mayor Rickaman?
Aye.
Thank you. You all did a great job today.